You mentioned your like the knee injury. What was the injury?
Yeah, so I remember it quite vividly. So, like, I sustained the injury in 2019. It was, and we was playing. I remember we were playing Chelsea at the time, and I think it was in the latter stages of the game. I'd gone to kick the ball, but I'd hyperextended my knee, and after the game, it had swelled up, and I was in a bit of discomfort. But at the time, I didn't really think much of it. The swelling kind of, reduced out of my knee, and I spoke to Liverpool at the time, and they didn't think it was anything serious. So I continued playing, and I was in a little bit of discomfort, and it just wasn't my knee pain just wasn't changing. So then I then got a scan, and on my lateral side of my knee, I think it's called your femoral condyle. I was missing a bit of cartilage there, and I sat down with the surgeon, and he was just kind of like, "Well, it's never gonna grow back. So the only option probably is to have surgery, which was in the form of microfracture." So that's what I did. I had the surgery. It was a very long process. I was non weight bearing for 6 weeks, which was
Oh
difficult.
wow.
Obviously, going from being like a very active person to literally not being mobile at all. So that was difficult, and I just never quite made it back from the surgery. I was reintroduced to the pitch. I think it was a 6 month process, and I was still in pain. But it almost felt like the problem had been fixed initially, but I had a new onset pain,
Hmm.
which was very confusing to me because I was kind of like, well, I've just had the surgery to fix, one pain. So what's this?
This new
What's
one.
this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I tried to come back. Probably wasn't doing myself much justice because I was in so much pain and discomfort yet again. Um, Seeing the surgeon again, he basically was like, we can go back inside your knee and have a look, see what's going on. And that's what he did. Went back inside again. That was my second operation. I then returned, but my knee just kept blowing up, swelling, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, there was just something not allowing me to return to the pitch how I was previously to my injury, which was it was devastating for me because I kind of went from being you know one of the most threatening probably strikers or forward players in WSL to kind of not being able to do what I'm capable of. Is
Mm.
almost the best way I can describe it. Is you've kind of got a talent there, but it's laid dormant because of this restriction
Yeah.
that I had, which was pain. And in total, I ended up having another operation. So in total, I had 3 operations to try and rectify the problem. And it just it just became a bit unbearable. I kind of got that low, that football was my identity, so it was very
Mm.
difficult to kind of see life without football, and I just couldn't get past this barrier that was stopping me from playing at the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like it would have been almost like a bit of a traumatic kind of journey, like losing that part of you and trying kind of all the conventional methods as such and kind of not seeing any results. So you mentioned obviously at the end going into PMF. What kind of made you start looking into that after everything that kind of happened?
Yeah, so it was so out of the ordinary, really. It was one of my friends. So I was at chef at the time, and like I said, the physios had done a great job in terms of getting all my strength around my knee. I'd had the test done, and that deficit that I had at 46% was now back up to where it needed to be. But there was still this like underlining pain and underlining problem where I was still having to be tapered, even
Mm.
though I was part time. So being part time, you're not doing as much as what you do full time. So obviously, there was to me, I was still not being able to hit that bar that I wanted to hit. And a friend of mine, she was in the Sheffield area at the time, and she was playing for Derby County, and she just sent me a message. She's like, "Do you want to meet up? I haven't seen you in a while, mate. Let's have a catch up." And that's what we did. We went for some lunch, And we got into the conversation. I was like, what are you doing here in Sheffield? And she was like, I'm here to see a guy who's got a machine. And I was like, right. She was like, I've got a hamstring problem. And I've heard this therapy is like meant to be really, really good. And she told me what it was, and it was pulse electromagnetic therapy. And I was like, right. And she just said to me, I've seen him today and I felt a difference already. And I was like, well, do you think it can fix my knee? And she was like, yeah, yeah. So that's when I then kind of went away and I did my research into it. I got myself on Google, had a look at the benefits, and I thought to myself, I've been in, an elite environment for over 10 years. And how have I never, ever come across this therapy before? And it's never even been offered to me either. And it's a shame because even now, if I speak to people, even people in the, physiotherapists, if I speak to them now, some of them still have not heard of the therapy, which is a shame because it's so brilliant. I just can't just put it into words what it's done for my life. And as I say, yeah, I looked into the enhanced natural healing, the enhanced natural healing of it, how it corrects, dysfunctions on a cellular level, how it treats pain, inflammation. And what I did at that time after speaking to my friend is that I went to go and try this guy's PMF device, and instantly I felt a difference on it. I think I'd gone on it for half an hour. I'm not sure what the intensity was. I'm not sure what the gas was. And I was like, wow, this really works. And I sat and had a conversation with him, and he was like, yeah, like it's not really known here in the UK. He did most of his business, I think, prior to him coming back to the UK, in America, which I think in America it's a bit more advanced there.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, right, I really, really, really need to get a hold of one of these devices if I can, or try it, or have one at home, because at this point it kind of, it gave me hope. It gave me so much hope because I thought, if I can get to a point again where I am pain free, my talent will take care of itself. There's a real possibility here that I can go back into full-time football. And yeah, that's what's kind of happened. I've purchased a device. I'm now using devices, different devices every day as part of my lifestyle routine. And obviously, with being an athlete now, I'm now in a position now where I'm training every day. And not only that, I'm training and not having to be tapered. So when I first had my surgery, that conversation, there was always a conversation surrounding training, and that was, Jess, there might be days when we have to do off feet with you just to make sure that your knee's in a better position for Sunday. I am now in a position now where I don't have to do that anymore, and I'm 34 years old. I'm 34, and I train 6 days a week, and I don't miss a session. And if I do miss a session, it's not to do with my knee. It's to do with something completely different, whether I've taken a bit of an impact knock, or maybe I've overstretched and me groin, or something that you can't help. But I never ever thought I'd be in a position where I can train full time every day again and not have to be tapered. So it's kind of, well, yeah, to put it nicely, it's a dream come true. Really, I never thought I'd be in this position again.